In Psalm 142 that we'll look at today, David is in a cave, according to the superscription. As I said yesterday, these superscriptions at the top of these Psalms can give us insight to at least the background and details of why they're being written. David is in a cave, and he is at a very low spot in his life. He said, I cry aloud with my voice to the Lord and make supplication with my voice to the Lord. I pour out my complaint before him. I declare my trouble before him. My spirit was overwhelmed within me. So let's stop there for a moment. We see David is just overwhelmed. He's in trouble. Now, this cave experience that we're talking about here is almost certainly the one in 1 Samuel chapter 24. So let's drop back there for a moment and see what he's talking about here. In 1 Samuel chapter 24, David is actually in a physical cave. He's running from Saul, who he and his army is trying to kill him. David and some of his men have hid out in a cave. And unbeknownst to him, the army and Saul has moved in on him. They don't know David's in the cave, but David is at a low place. He thinks perhaps this is it. He's not going to get out of here. And so let's read some of this, 24:1. Now when Saul returned from pursuing the Philistines, he was told, saying, Behold, David is in the wilderness of En-gedi. Then Saul took 3,000 chosen men from all Israel and went to seek David and his men in front of the rocks of the wild goats. And he came to the sheepfolds on the way, where there was a cave, and Saul went in to relieve himself. Now David and his men were sitting in the inner recesses of the cave. So here he is, hidden out in the cave with some men, and Saul doesn't know he's there, but how is David going to escape? The men of David said to him, Behold, this is the day of which the Lord has said to you, Behold, I am about to give your enemy into your hand, and you shall go to him as it seems good to you. Then David arose and cut off the edge of Saul's robe secretly. And it came about afterwards that David's conscience bothered him because he had cut off the edge of Saul's robe. And he said to his men, Far be it from me, because of the Lord, that I should do this thing to my Lord, the Lord anointed, to stretch out my hand against him, since he's the Lord anointed. And David persuaded his men with these words. They did not allow them to rise up against Saul. And Saul arose, left the cave, and went on his way. It just so happened that the Lord allowed Saul to come into the cave, unbeknownst to David. It would appear that that Saul's probably taking a nap in here. The cave was probably cool and refreshing, and so there, as it turned out, it looked like, at least David's men thought, this is an opportunity for you to go kill this guy. He's after you. He's trying to kill you. You can go kill him. Now, of course, there's a little problem with that. Even if he had killed him, the 3,000 people in his army are going to be looking for the killer. And that would be David, who had no way of getting out of this cave. He was stuck. And so he refused to do so, but that's just a pragmatic reason. The other reason is this is the Lord's anointed. The Lord had anointed Saul as king. David felt he had no right to interfere. He's even bothered by cutting off a piece of his robe. But that's a situation he's in, and he's struggling with the physical danger as well as the spiritual angst that he's going through here. Verse 4, Look to the right and see, for there's no one who regards me. There is no escape for me. At this point, he thought he's a goner. No one who cares for my soul. Have you ever been there? You ever felt so low? And you look around, and usually it's self-pity. It's not realistic. But you look around, and there's really nobody that seems to care for you. Nobody who's on your team. Nobody who'd really care whether you lived or died. That's a bad spot to be in, and I imagine most of us have been there at one time or the other. But David cried out to the Lord in verse 5 and said, You are my refuge, my portion in the land of the living. So even if it's true that there's no one that cares for his soul, God did. The Lord was his protector, his refuge, and so he could give heed to my cry, for I am brought very low. I know I can cry out to you, Lord, even in my lowest estate. At this time, deliver me from my persecutors, for they're too strong for me. Bring my soul out of prison, so that I may give thanks to your name. The righteous will surround me, and you will deal bountifully with me. So even though he's in a cave facing almost certain death, as the Lord delivers him from that, He also finds deliverance from his angst spiritually, and he cries out to the Lord for as a refuge. And the Lord heard his prayer, rescued him physically and spiritually. Wonderful, wonderful little psalm.